Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in and welcome back to another episode of Carnivore Kitchen. Steven here with Team U4Work, and today I'm going to be showing you how to wet brine a steak to make your striploin steak even more tender and delicious, so stay tuned. If you've never tried to wet brine your steak, you need to give it a try because it's super simple and it's an easy way to make your steak even more delicious, and all we need is a little bit of salt and some water.
The first thing you want to do is heat up enough water to cover a steak in a large pot. You don't need to bring the water to a boil. You just need to get the water hot enough to be able to dissolve the Himalayan salt in the water. Next, you're going to remove the pot from the burner and add the water to a measuring cup and pour the water into a large glass, ceramic, or stainless steel bowl. Once the water is in the bowl, you're then going to add the Himalayan salt. For every 1 cup of water, you want to add 1 tablespoon of Himalayan salt. You're then going to continually stir the water until the salt has dissolved. Once the Himalayan salt is dissolved, you're going to set the water aside or place it in the refrigerator until the water is cool. You can also make the brine up to 24 hours in advance and store it in the refrigerator. Once the salt water has cooled off, you're then going to add the steaks to the brine. Make sure there is enough water in the brine to completely cover the steaks. Once the steaks have been submerged in the salt water, place some weights or some stainless steel utensils on top of the steaks in order to weigh them down so that the steaks remain covered the entire time. Cover the bowl and place it in the refrigerator for 24 to 48 hours. For this wet brine, I let it sit for 48 hours. This is what the steak will look like once it has been completed. If you used utensils to weigh the steaks down, they will leave markings on the steaks. However, don't worry because these will disappear once you cook them. Season the steak to your liking and cook using your preferred cooking method. This is what the finished steaks look like. Because it has been soaked in water for 48 hours, it's going to be a lot more voluminous than doing something like a dry brine, which will dry out the steak by absorbing the water. Now, it's time to eat.
Alright, so it's time to try it out. We've got the wet brine steak right over here. It's been brining in the fridge for 48 hours, and the one benefit to the wet brine is that because of all the water, it really makes the steak come out a lot fuller. And I don't know if you guys can see, but definitely looks really juicy, looks really tender. Let's go ahead and dig in. Oh my god. Definitely, if you have the time, you have to try out the wet brine. I find 48 hours to be a good amount of time. The salt really allows to seep into the meat if you leave it for a little bit longer. You could do 24 as well, but 48 is really, really worth it. Very, very tender, very, very juicy. Cooked to 130 degrees, medium rare, just the way that I like it. I'm going to leave you guys now so I can finish that steak, but that is how you wet brine a steak. Next week I'm going to be showing you how to dry brine a steak. And personally, dry brining a steak is my favorite way just because it's a little bit easier. All you need to do is really add salt. But I'll show you guys next week. Tune in next Wednesday at 2 o'clock p.m. and that's pretty much it. Take care, everybody.